Hi, this is Kathleen from oldworldfarmhouse.com, where I help you make a home full of European country charm on a serious budget. Today, I'm really excited to share with you my pantry reveal. It's not so much a makeover as a refresh. When we moved in, this house pantry looked like this. I think it had been painted maybe once in the entire 200-year-odd history of this house. I don't know, the former owners used it as a tool room. It just had this one bare bulb sort of swinging back and forth. But I looked at it and I instantly thought, oh, pantry, that's an amazing pantry. I don't know if originally that's what it was used for. My husband thinks it was actually part of the house that was sort of, it was an outbuilding that later they filled in the gaps and made it part of the house. So who knows what it was, but the storage shelves are amazing. It just needed a lot of TLC. So that summer we moved in, I was very pregnant with our fourth child, and my husband fixed the ceiling, and then I spent many a hot, sultry July evening painting the walls, the ceiling, the floor, and the trim, which was pretty tricky because my belly was so big that it was really hard to move around the ladder. Forward 6 years later, and the pantry was looking a little grubby. The paint was starting to come up off of the floor, and the trim paint was getting really nicked up and damaged. And originally I thought, I just want to do whole new colors in here. I really blew it with the colors last time. But my husband actually stepped in. I had started to paint the trim, and he said, no, I actually really like the colors. Just don't change them. And I was like, well, okay, plus it's so much work. I love my little colander lampshade that my husband made me. It's very cheeky and fun for a pantry, I think. And that's fine, that can stay. We redid this entire room when we moved in because it was all the color of dirt. We also painted this wood floor red, as you can see. And I am really tired of the red, and it's also starting to come up in spots. So I am thinking that I would really like to do a stencil in here. Out in the hallway, we've got checkers, so I don't want to do checkerboard because that would just be too much checkerboard. But as you're walking in, I think it would be fun if it went from checkerboard to kind of a Moroccan style tile stencil, maybe with the Rookwood shutter green and then the wall color over top as the stencil. I think that would be fun, and I think I've never done a stencil, but this is a great small space to try it in. This blank wall, I'd love to get some kind of inviting piece of artwork in like a heavy gilt frame. I'm thinking something pastoral that kind of draws you into it as you're walking into the pantry. And I think, so I'm gonna be on the hunt for that. And then the other thing is, I really wanna get some containers so that when I'm in here, it's all of my stuff, or at least a lot of it, like it's organized right now. It really is. Like there's my tea, there's my canned fish, etc. But none of it looks good at all. It's just really bleh. And I would love to get containers and have this be like a showstopper instead of a closet, a little closet where you keep food and random stuff. And then spices are sort of the bane of my existence. I wish that I could keep like all matching spices in charming little bottles, but I just buy whatever's on sale or what I find at the Bent and Dent store near us, and so that's just not going to happen. So maybe some kind of baskets just to contain the mess. My mother used to keep her spices alphabetized, and I have tried that, and it's just, it gets so disorganized so quickly when you don't have everything matching. So down here, that's fine. They just need to be straightened up and cleaned up, and that can I'm touching up the color, the shelf color that's already here, and the wall color, and I'm also going to get into painting the floor. Let me show you what I've been doing. So I've touched up the walls back here, and now I'm about to touch up all these spots on the shelves that have gotten dinged up over the years. And then I am going to paint over this red floor, which I'm really tired of. This is what I have been looking at over here. I think I'm going to paint it the same color as the walls, and I'm going to put one of these stencils on there. Look a little gnarly because I was learning how to stencil. I've never done one before, but I think I'll probably do the bee with the wreath most likely instead of just the single bee. And I think that's going to just brighten up the space a little bit, and then after that I'll get some nice containers to hold things in here and some frames for my botanical prints. And I think that'll give this a nice little, you know, some lipstick and some eyeliner and mascara is kind of how I look at it. So we are heading out of the kitchen door and we are walking into the back hallway, and we're gonna pass the laundry room there on the left. I'm not gonna go in there because it's a little bit of a mess today, and I'm working on a refresh of that room as well. Okay, and then here is the pantry. So you see there's this, you know, there's quite a bit of space. There's my kitchen door down at the end, and then there's the laundry room door, and then here's my pantry. So the first thing about this pantry that I really love that's cool is that it has a transom window at the top. Now, oddly, and I wish I knew why they did this, I don't know. This is the only transom in the whole house that's actually nailed shut on the inside, and it has been nailed shut for a very long time. So I don't know why they did that. But anyway, and then of course the pantry also has a door, which we just left on. It's hardly ever closed because we are in the pantry all the time, but there it is. And then here's my B floor that you walk in. And then the other thing that I added were these curtains. Well, I added these curtains to cover up the very bottom because there's a lot of great storage down here, and I was just tired of looking at it. I keep things down there that aren't very glamorous, like plastic bags and appliances that we don't use, and big jars of vinegar and big gallons of juice and things behind those curtains. So I went looking at Hobby Lobby, and I wasn't sure. I just wanted to find something to coordinate with the bees, and I actually found this fabric with bees on it that worked perfectly with the other colors in here. I was really happy about that. And then the trim color, like I said, I just touched it up. It's Sea Swell by Valspar Paints, and the wall color is called Cincinnati and Hotel Dominicana, which is also a Valspar color. Brass paint that the bees are painted is also aged brass by Valspar. So this was a totally Valspar pantry. Once I painted the floor and stenciled it, I waxed over it with Johnson Paste wax that I use on my wood floors. I thought of polyurethaning it, but I didn't want that amber hue, and I didn't have any clear poly. I just had the kind of traditional kind. So I thought, well, I'll give it a try with the wax. It was a little bit of a leap into the dark, but amazingly, the floor has held up really well. I actually was sort of thinking the floor might get torn up more or less immediately, and I'd completely regret what I had done. But it's been over a month now, and I don't have any of the floor coming up at all. I'm actually really amazed. And it's staying clean as well, so I'm really happy about that. I think I'll probably have to re-wax it every so often. We'll see how that goes. So last thing I did in here decor-wise is spice cards that I had them for my son's Montessori. He used to get these Montessori boxes in the mail, and one time this big box of cards of these beautiful illustrations of spices, and then on the back information about each one, and I just found them when I was cleaning some stuff out. So I threw them in some frames. These are 4x6 frames that I bought at Walmart. They were only $1 a piece, and they were white, so I spray painted them with some Rust-Oleum brass spray paint, and then I just made this gallery wall, which I really like a lot. Adds a little bling to the space. And then I suppose now I'll have to maybe look for a brass colored colander. That was something I did with the original paint job, was I put this old colander up there as a lampshade. We still just have the one single bulb in here, and it's just a regular old stainless steel colander. But it'd be cool to get a brass one now that everything in here is brass themed, I think. I cleaned and reorganized. I've always had my cookbooks on this shelf here, and I'm really lucky to have all this space. You can tell I love the Barefoot Contessa. And then I put some of my things in these little wire baskets that I found at Dollar Tree, like my spices. And then I just left the cans as is. It doesn't really make any sense to put cans in anything else because it took up too much space. But I did find in my things this big box, and I put all of our dried beans in there, which is great. And then we've got some vitamins and over-the-counter medicine up there. And then I got these teal plastic boxes. They came out to be about $2 a piece from Walmart, and I put some things in there. And then over here, like, I made a basket for tape and light bulbs and things like that, but a lot of it I just kept out. So these are our plastic picnic ware and that kind of thing. Tea, we have a little coffee station down here. We don't have any electrical outlets in this pantry, so we do all our coffee making in the kitchen, but this, I can keep all of our coffee in here, and then we can just refill from there. And then I keep my vinegars and oils and condiments on this shelf, and we've got, you know, chips and cereals and crackers, and then I've got glass jars of big, you know, sugars and flours, and I keep my big oils there. So these little additions to this small space have really given me a lot of joy. I love walking past here now. That was the impetus for this whole project. Is our house is a Victorian era house, is when it was built. So there's a definite front of house, back of house division. But of course we don't live like that anymore. There's nothing hidden about the way we live. When people come over, when our friends come over, they don't stay in the fancy entertaining rooms. They go all over. So they see the back of the house and the front of the house. And of course, everyone is always going to the kitchen, right? Always making a beeline for the kitchen. It's the place to be. So of course, to get to the kitchen, you have to pass my pantry. You have to pass the laundry room. So I just thought, you know, I want them to look really fun and really great because, you know, let's face it, we're in the back of the house more than we are in the front of the house. We don't have servants, we're the servants. So here we are, and our friends are too. And so I want it to look really good. So the additions I've made here, I'm glad we painted it when we first moved in. And if you've ever done any renovating, sometimes, you know, it's great to just, the initial work is just so much, it's so much work just to do the patching and the painting that you need to do. And then just kind of let it sit. It's been 6 years, and I never really knew, I never even thought about what I could do to improve this space until just this spring. This is the first time I've ever sat down and thought about it. But it was worth the wait. Thanks for watching this video about my pantry refresh. If you liked it, you probably will also like my video about my unfitted kitchen design. I'll link it up there or down below. And please subscribe to my channel. I make 2 or 3 videos every week about European country style, DIY projects in my house, and cleaning projects in my old house.